the RYLACast, still titled the RYLACast for now. If you have a better idea, then just, I don't know, let us know. This is the official podcast of Camp RYLA District 5810. I'm Greg Tupper. That is the man they call Josey.
Well, hello.
Andrew Utz. What's up, man?
Not too much. How about you?
You know, it's another day in paradise. That's the thing. And we are joined by a very special guest who will be joining us on this episode. And we'll be talking to her in a minute, but I want to make sure she feels included.
Who is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. It's America's sweetheart, Joni Utz.
Hey!
Thanks for having me on.
That's right. Welcome in. How are you?
I'm great.
How are things at home?
He's sitting right here.
Oh,
Things are great.
Oh man,
Thanks.
Whew. That went exactly as well as that went exactly as well as I was hoping it would. This is episode 2 of the RYLACast. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to drop us a subscription or 5-star rating if you like it, or 1 star. I mean, this is a safe space. You can be honest with us. We can let us know. We can take it. Per usual, we will have our normal signposts. Along the way, we will have something to think about. We will have someone to talk to and something to leave you with. We will kick it all off. He's over here just waving his hand. He's calling for the ball. I'm passing the ball to Josey Utz, who has something to think about.
Well, thanks, Greg.
You're welcome.
Something to think about today. I'm just going to jump right into it. I do listen to a few podcasts, if I can put that on my bragging montage.
You're cheating on us?
Not in addition to this one.
Oh, okay.
But this original broadcast date, I guess this is where I can come out in the clear. April 26th, 2018, by the TED Radio Hour called Comfort Zone. Mm-hmm. And TED, which I didn't know until didn't know until today, stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. But I digress. So Comfort Zone. So this episode was about stepping out of your comfort zone and identifying your comfort zone, which I felt was very topical for Camp RYLA 5810. And so I'm going to ramble, if I may.
My man, what do you think this podcast is?
So they have a couple of guests on this particular episode talking about just their personal journeys and how they've grown. And all of them had in common that in order to grow, they had to get uncomfortable and step out of their comfort zone, which I thought was interesting because, and one of the guests goes into this, is you're drawn to people that are like you, just naturally. And so you have to, by choice, widen your social world and break your social habit, or else you just get in a rut. And in order to learn new things, you have to get out of that rut. So Tim Ferriss was an author and fellow podcaster on this episode, and he likes to answer 3 questions whenever he's dealing with a difficult decision. He likes to define what the decision is and list out all the what-ifs. And I know at camp we've had some facilitators list the what-ifs, negative what-ifs are going to happen. Actually, I think they actually list the positive what-ifs of a decision, but Tim says to list all of them, positive and negative. And then the next step is to prevent. What could you do to prevent the defined bullets from happening? And then repair, and then what the damage control is. And I thought that was interesting that, what was in common throughout this podcast was everybody had a plan. And I know, if I may reach back into episode 1 of our podcast.
Oh, boy, a callback already.
William Taft had a plan. And
man, I would love if this became a William Taft podcast.
It's headed that way.
Like, this is just, all this is a podcast built around, like, making sure, like, giving him his due.
Basically, what are the costs of staying put? What are you going to lose by not expanding your comfort zone? And I know comfort zone is a cool buzzword that it's easy to put on a T-shirt, but it's different for everybody. Your comfort zone may be sitting at home and playing games and not interacting with the outside world. Or your comfort zone may be, being the party planner, being the biggest extrovert you could be. But I challenge you to think about what makes you uncomfortable. And one of the quotes from Seneca the Young, a Roman philosopher.
Oh, yeah.
We suffer more in imagination than we do in reality. And I can relate to that.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. I tend to be a worrier. And 9 times out of 10 or 9.5 times out of 10, what I worry about is not at all as bad in real life as it was when I was thinking about it. So, and I think when you step out of your comfort zone and interact with people that are not in your social circle, and social circle can mean physically or in the online world, interact with people that are different than you in whatever difference that is, that you really learn to walk a mile in their shoes. If I can just pull sayings and words from the ether.
No, I like that.
And I've got a couple other quotes here written down from the podcast. I encourage everybody to just get out there and listen to, obviously listen to our podcast, but also expand your listening horizons as well and just try to learn. I think that's the fundamental breakdown of stepping out of your comfort zone, is learning about yourself and other people.
I like it.
So that's something to think about.
I like that, Josey. Excellent. Well done. Joni, do you have anything to say?
Well done.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
I'm trying to help you guys here. Jeez, I can just feel the tension. Cut it with a knife. Let's get into someone to talk to, and that someone to talk to today is the lovely and talented Joni Utz. I guess you do have a last name that was before then, but we won't speak that.
Yeah, past life.
Okay. By the way, I looked it up just real quick. Seneca the Young.
Yeah?
His dad, Seneca the Elder.
Oh.
Okay. Joni, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Lion's Den. Let's hear, he got to go on in episode 1. Josey got to go on, and I'm talking just relentless about meeting you and all of these things. It was just, there was a lot there, and I want to make sure that we're fact checking this. But first and foremost, before we get into that, that's a tease. We're gonna get to that. I want to hear your RYLA story. I want to hear what brought you to camp and how you're still involved.
Yeah, I was a camper in 2008. I did not know what Camp RYLA was. I had one of my math teachers just hand me an application one day and said, "Hey, I think you should do this." And I filled it out, and next thing you know, I was going to Camp RYLA. Fell in love there, decided I did not want to not come back. I wanted to stay involved, so I came back as an assistant counselor in 2009 and have since been involved with the program as an alumni staff member and also as a cabin counselor.
Okay. So you're the first person, because Josey, correct me if I'm wrong, you have not been. Have you been a cabin counselor?
I have been a cabin counselor for 1 year.
Okay. Excellent. I'm very interested. I want you to double team this question, but the challenges of being a cabin counselor, because obviously that is something that is a very, very unique is not a thing, but unique role there at camp. And I'm interested kind of what you guys have learned from just being in a cabin as opposed to just being on staff. Not that any one role is better than the other, but it's so different and stark in my mind.
I'm going to let Joni take this one first.
So I think the first thing that comes to my mind is one of our founders, Mark Healy, always said that the magic happens in the cabin. That's where the magic happens. And so I think that is so true. Being in the cabin is where you get to see just things that are little things turn into really big things. See the campers just really grow as individuals and just buy into the entire program and just learn what RYLA is and why we love it and the type of person that RYLA can prepare you to be.
Interesting. Do you want to just roast your wife now?
Yes.
Okay.
My turn. I personally think, and I'm going to try to caveat this, not to step on anybody's toes, but being a cabin counselor is one of, if not the most difficult roles at camp, and that's not taking anything away from any other role. But like Joni said, like Mark said, the magic happens in the cabin, and you always have to be on as a cabin counselor. There's no downtime. Even the built-in downtime, the 5 minutes where you can walk and go to the restroom, you're talking to other counselors about how their cabin's going. And I think that it's critical, like Joni said. I mean, this is, I guess, just going to be what Joni said is right.
My man, I'm trying to lead you down this gilded path. But just walk with me, because I promise you I'm leading you to a good place. Just say, you know what? What she said was spot on.
I can see the light, and it is.
Okay. Joni, you obviously you're still involved with camp. You've been it's been, I hate to date you like this, but it's been 11 years since you went to camp.
It has.
Why keep coming back? What do you get out of it? Like as a staff member, because obviously you can want to give back, and that's part of it, but unless you're getting something out of it, like, that's a real hard ask. So what do you get out of coming back?
So much. I feel like I use a part of RYLA every single day of my life, whether it's just the reminder of the importance of surrounding yourself with the most positive, loving, just compassionate people that care. I think that is something that RYLA has really given to me. And I come back because it just gave so much to me as a camper, and it continues to give something to me each and every day. It's given me some of my closest friends. It's given me my husband. It's given me just the biggest support system, the biggest boost of confidence, and just lots of great qualities that I use every single day.
So you're a bona fide adult.
Somewhat.
And I'm interested in what do you do? What's your path now? Who are you?
So I currently work. Yes,
How
I'm
did
an
you
adult.
get in here?
I currently work as a speech pathologist, working with young children and their families. And
Can I ask a dumb question?
you never ask a dumb question.
This is a dumb question. Why? Like, why? What drew you to that? That seems like a very specific thing to be passionate about.
It is. I'm very passionate about working with children, working with babies, working with their families. I'm very passionate about helping others, but specifically helping others who cannot help themselves, like children and babies. And so helping the families to figure out how to best work with their child to help them grow and develop and become the little children that they can be, and the children that they can be to be successful and to communicate. Let
me put you on the spot here. What is something that you are, from a personal kind of growth perspective, is there anything right now that you can pinpoint that you're working on right now that you are passionate about?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're always working on our own kind of personal goals. And,
I'm nodding very hard on the microphone.
Yeah, I mean, I think, in my job, I'm currently working and always working on just always trying to figure it out. Like, I can prepare for something, and it may not always go that way, or I can work with families, and every child is so different. So I might think I'm walking into a situation and completely walk into a different situation. So just always learning how to adapt, learning how to, in that situation, how to find the best and run with that. Mm-hmm. And then there's definitely challenges that I always am working on overcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josey, this is an opportunity for you to grill your wife if you have any questions.
Oh, boy.
In a recorded setting.
I do have one question because this, I'm going to let her talk about it. But when you left camp as a camper, can you explain that feeling, what you thought about camp as a camper?
Yeah. After catching up on some sleep and kind of really taking in what just happened. When you leave camp, you're on such a high that that was the greatest week. But you get back into real life and you learn, that moment. Just always remembering, I don't know, what was your question again? I'm just going to be honest.
What your feeling was after camp.
Yeah, my feeling after camp is, I want to take everything I learned at camp and take it back to my friend group, take it back to, the athletic teams and all of the things that I was involved in. And you just want to share the unique opportunity and experience that you got to get. You want to share it with everybody that you know, because out of my school, I was the only person that got to go from my high school.
That's and I found from my experience, I feel like that's one of the harder parts is you can't make other people around you have that experience and feel those feelings and feel that passion,
Right.
And so when you come back and you do have all these great lessons and you're ready to take on the world and it's great, you're on fire about it, but then you go and you talk to your friends and you very much you care about these people and you very much want to instill them with that same passion, but you can't. I found that to be a challenging part of kind of the aftermath, so to speak. It's a bit of a negative word, but you know what I mean. That second part of it is, I think, so critical, and yet finding that balance and finding a way to instill those values without knowing full well that you're not going to be able to have that experience, give that experience to other people. Right.
It's hard to explain the life-changing moment that you had in a week to a lot of people that weren't there to experience.
Okay. You brought some cookies over to my house, full disclosure.
I did.
They are out of control. What's the secret?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
I can't tell you that secret.
My next 7 questions
They're
were
made with
cookie-related.
love.
If it makes you feel any better, I don't even know the secret.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's right.
That's
my mom's special recipe.
All right, and so now, finally, something I just thought of that we're going to do at the end of every guest is you get to recommend something. You can recommend something, a book you read, a website you like, a movie you just saw that you really like, a song that struck you. It can be related to RYLA, or it can just be some jam that you're really into. So, we're going to leave it purposefully vague. Joni Utz, what would you like to recommend?
I recommend everyone starting to watch The Office from season 1.
Is that what you guys are doing?
We are currently on season 4, and it's amazing.
It is amazing.
It is.
Yes.
It holds up. It really does.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so The Office. That's an easy recommend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's something. Okay.
Except for I think there's like 15 seasons, so.
There's like 8.
There's like 9.
Oh, 9.
Like 8. Also, that's for a different podcast. But I have some hot takes on some of the characters.
Oh.
I think one of the main characters I'm not about.
Ooh.
Oh, I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
You'll have to be tuned into the premium podcast for that one. Okay. Joni, thank you for being our someone to talk to.
Thank you very much for having me.
Finally, it's my turn.
Well, yes. So I guess I will take this over. Greg, would you, as the third part of this podcast set, would you like to give us something to leave with?
Sure. So I don't know. I have something where we are. My office is. I have a desk and a cubicle and I have a whiteboard in my desk, and I have one thing written. Well, really, it's 3 lines written on my whiteboard, and I want to share with you what it is. It's from a book a book called Awareness. It's the first place I saw it. Awareness by a gentleman named Anthony DeMello. He was an Indian Jesuit priest and public speaker and spiritual teacher and all this fun stuff. But he said, and I don't know if he came up with this quote, but he was the one I read it from, so I'm going to give him credit. But he said, and this is something that's always stuck with me. He said that the 3 intellectual feats that are the three hardest things for us to do in life are returning love for hate, including the excluded, and admitting you are wrong. I think about that a lot. Like, that is, for me, something that is an easy checklist that you can go through in a day and say, did I do something that checked off each of those boxes? Returning love for hate, which is kind of easy to understand, that if somebody's yelling at you, tell them you love them, or just don't yell back sometimes is the easiest way to do that. Including the excluded, I think that is so key and something to find a way to, that's, if somebody is feeling like they are not part of something, to find a way to let them be part of something, I think is huge. And then admitting you are wrong, which is, oh boy, can be so difficult as I look at the married couple. It is. Like, sometimes it seems so easy to say, I was wrong. Those are like the three hardest words in the English language to say. So that's what's written in my cubicle is return love for hate, include the excluded, and admit you are wrong, when you're wrong, rather. And to me, that is something that is an easy checklist to go 1, 2, 3. At the end of the day, did I do something that would satisfy each of those three requirements? Cool?
Cool. Well, thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
It's a great something to think about.
Yeah, how about that? And that is a great episode of the RYLACast. Episode 2 is in the books, out of pocket, out of sight. So, Joni, thank you so much for being our guest.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll have another guest at some point in the next episode. But thank you for spending part of your day with us. Please leave us a review and subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Josey, thank you for your courage.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next time on RYLACast.